It's the Cool Kids Club. You've been invited to the Cool Kids Club. It's so exciting, yeah. Justin likes monsters, yeah. And Amy likes words in the Cool Kids Club. Cool Kids Club.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Cool Kids Club. This is episode 42, which is insane.
42?
42? And I am one of your hosts, and one half of America's Favorite Siblings. Amy.
Oh sure.
And who are you? Who
Well,
are you?
I'd be Justin, and here we are,
And here we are.
and it's Saturday morning as we're recording
Yes,
this, which is
very
unusual.
It's
for
very
us.
unusual for us. Normally, as we say, it's after work, before dinner. We're loopy.
Well, and we should say so.
Mm-hmm.
We started. This episode's going up slightly late, obviously. And we started to record the other night, and it just wasn't happening.
No, we weren't feeling it. No. I was trying to eat dinner real quick before. It
just wasn't good.
It just wasn't good.
So we were just like, you know what? All our legions of listeners deserve more.
Yeah.
Than this.
I just had a vibe. I was like, this isn't going to be a good episode because neither of us are feeling like recording it.
Yeah. But that's not the case right now because
no, it's not.
For the fans, of course.
Yes, it's all for the fans.
Yeah, we dragged ourselves out of bed at the crack of 9 on a Saturday morning. And I frankly don't know why we don't do this more often. It would make sense instead of trying to squeeze it in after work. But here we are. For the brand. So I got up early. And by early, I mean a decent time.
Yeah. I got up about an hour before I normally would on a Saturday. So you're welcome.
Yeah. So Halloween is over. Have you recovered? Have you recovered from your post-Halloween hangover yet? Or are you still kind of?
I actually haven't had. I think I haven't had the Halloween hangover because of a couple reasons. I felt like I had a really great spooky season this year.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about, we went to Scarewinds. I don't know if we mentioned this on the podcast. We went to the drive-in to see the new Halloween movie, which, but it was a very cool experience. I hadn't been to the drive-in in like 25 years. So, that was very cool. Just did watched a lot of spooky movies. Just took advantage of spooky season. Yes. So, for that reason, I didn't feel the Halloween hangover I guess I didn't feel the
It had run its course.
Yes. I didn't feel that.
You got a lot out of the season, and you feel satisfied. I got robbed a little bit of of Halloween weekend.
Yes.
I hurt my back, and that kind of took precedence over everything. So I didn't get to do much Halloween weekend, but I got to watch a lot of scary movies because I basically had to be laying down the whole time.
Yep.
So at least I got to do that. But
there's that.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, like you said, we got to do a lot of cool school stuff.
Cool school stuff, yeah.
And now Christmas is around the corner.
Well, and that was my second reason was I feel really kind of depressed and have the hangover after Christmas because it's the end of the entire my favorite part of the year, like the last 3 months of the year.
The holiday season's basically like,
yes.
For me, it's like September through the end of the year.
Right. Yes.
Right.
And so I never feel it as much after Halloween because I have the excitement for Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up.
Yes.
So
and let's not glaze. And I glazed right over Thanksgiving, but we don't do that here. Because I appreciate some Thanksgiving.
Oh, Thanksgiving is like Christmas without all the pressure, for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well,
it's like,
I guess
just about the food.
I guess the way we do it, because I mean, a lot of people travel,
yes.
and I imagine we usually don't travel for Thanksgiving, so I imagine if you're doing that, it's much more stressful. But
yes, sure. All of our immediate family is here, so
I just stay at home and eat. So
yeah, eat and watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That is the family tradition in our family. And there, you've got a lot of people who are in the camp of like, don't skip Thanksgiving. We don't skip Thanksgiving. We don't start listening to Christmas music. We don't, and I respect that. However, in my mind, Thanksgiving and Christmas are like the holidays, and they feel very similar in vibe. And so, like, while I don't necessarily start listening to Christmas music early, like, the lights, the cozy, homey atmosphere is like for both of them.
Thanksgiving,
so, like,
I always think Thanksgiving to me feels like the beginning. Like, this is the beginning, official beginning of the Christmas season, and then the end of it is Christmas.
Right.
Right. So
yeah. But I just feel, like, so
I'm not opposed to popping in like Home Alone on Thanksgiving night, and being like, okay, let's kick it off. Let's do it,
And I'll probably, I do usually hold off on the Christmas music till after Thanksgiving because I will get tired of it and I don't want to get tired of it.
Well, and there's a lot, probably a lot of people are going to be baffled that you listen to Christmas music at all. And I listen to Christmas music as well. I love Christmas music.
Are people baffled that we listen to?
Well, just so many people hate Christmas music.
Oh,
I hear way more bitching and complaining about Christmas music than I hear from people who actually like it. Oh, do you not? We must run on just complete separate corners of the internet.
Guess I just mean, like, I hear a lot of people bitching about listening to it too early, like before Thanksgiving.
I just constant
people don't like it.
Constant bitching about Christmas, honestly, and it's a turnoff for me.
Yeah, just
like, I get it.
Like
I get it. It's the same, and it's the same shit every year. Oh my God, stuff is out so early. It's out the same. I mean, yeah, it's out early. Yeah. It's out the same time it was the year before and the year before.
Right. Yeah.
And it's why are you surprised?
Yeah. And honestly, no one bats an eye when they pull out the grills in February.
Yeah, exactly.
The outside, the
I worked at in retail for years,
sets.
and yeah, we were setting summer patio furniture in February. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, that's just what. So when people, you start seeing Halloween at the end of July, August,
because,
oh my God, and I'm like, yeah, it's 3 months
because retail
from now.
usually runs about a season ahead.
Right. That's how that always works.
Just how it works.
Nobody complains about it when it's summer.
We're gonna cut all this out.
I'm not going to. I am not going to.
Our rant about how Christmas is actually awesome.
Christmas is awesome.
Christmas is awesome.
I love Christmas, and if you don't love Christmas, then I'm sorry about that. That seems like very sad for you. But
in the words of the great rapper Crud Bump, fuck you if you don't like Christmas.
So who is Crud Bump?
It's a very obscure reference.
Was that a deep cut? That was a deep cut.
It's a deep cut.
Okay, only the true fans will know that one.
Yeah. Only true believers.
Well, I'm not going to cut all this, but we can go ahead and pivot to. You had one thing you wanted to talk about.
You want to pivot? Well, yeah. Well, I wanted to mention it. So, as I'm sure you're aware, since you clicked on the episode, we're going to be talking about AOL Instant Messenger, AIM, today. But before we get into that, last night I was able to watch, as I'm sure a lot of us were, the Weird Al movie, Al Yankovic Story, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because it just came out for most people yesterday. Yeah. You haven't seen it yet, so it's really, really good.
I'm very excited.
I laughed the whole way through, and as did April. Like it's really, really, really well done, and the cast is amazing. Lots of awesome celebrity and comedian cameos.
I was gonna say like cameos and stuff. Yeah.
And it was a little jarring at first because like sort of at the very first it's kind of played serious until you realize that like absolutely nothing that's happening in this movie is true. Like
okay,
except for like the big beats of him getting famous and stuff, like
okay, like all the minutia, none of it's true.
All the characters, no, none of it. So it's it's really, the cast is so good. Toby Huss, who is just a absolute favorite of. You would absolutely know him if you saw him. He was.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I know who he is. I meant who is he in the movie?
He plays his dad.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays his
no, I know
dad.
Toby Huss, yeah.
Toby Huss, if you're 90s kids would remember Toby Huss as Artie, the strongest man in the world
Yes.
from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, but he's one of these guys who's been in everything. You absolutely know his face
Yes.
if you look him up if you're unaware. Toby Huss
He's also
is
the
great
guy
in
that
everything.
Elaine falls in love with on that episode of Seinfeld.
No, he's not that guy. He's the Wiz, and nobody beats him. Okay. Also, also just complete sidebar. He's fantastic in what I feel is one of the most underrated shows of all time, which is Carnival. Him in a really great dramatic role.
Oh, I didn't realize he was in Carnival.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I do really love him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, Daniel Radcliffe is just giving it all, and
I love him.
Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna she's playing it big, man. I love it.
Is she? Oh, I love that.
It's really, really enjoyable. I will rewatch it.
Cool.
I highly recommend it. It's free to watch, so if you get the Roku channel or if you download the Roku app or whatever,
Okay. Which is free.
free.
The movie
yeah.
is free.
So yeah, you
Cool.
can you can
You
watch
have
it
no
for free
excuse.
right now. At least if you're in the U.S. I'm not sure about overseas, but yeah. So I won't go into any details. We won't do like a review or anything to avoid spoilies. Spoilies, but it's fantastic. Obviously, I'm a huge Weird Al fan. We've done a whole Weird Al episode, and I can't recommend the movie enough. It's really, really
There we
fun.
go. There you go. Justin's mini review.
Yep.
Roku, if you want to pay us.
I'll be honest. I'm just gonna say it's certified cool. I'm gonna say it. For our first ever new movie that's certified cool. I'm gonna say it. New movie.
I love that the first 20 minutes of this episode is just. It reminds me of that meme that you sent me the other day that was 45 minutes into into a podcast. All right, well, let's just dive on in.
Let's get right to the point here. 20 minutes into this episode.
Yeah.
Hey, what are we actually here to... We're not here to talk about Halloween. We're not here to talk about Christmas. And we're not here to talk about Weird Al, though we've done all that.
It's true. It's
so
true.
what are we actually here to talk about, Amy?
We are here to talk about Amy.
Amy.
Oh. Wow. Do you think it was named after me?
I do,
yeah.
Not.
We're talking about AOL Instant Messenger, AIM for short, which was the quintessential communication device for childhood teen Amy and Justin.
Teen. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, at least for me and for a lot of us, predates texting.
Yes, this was how we chatted.
This was the first form that I experienced of just that real-time communication. Where you could, a text-based communication.
Right.
Where you could chat in real time with somebody. And that was probably for a lot of us, that was the first time we experienced that. Which was at the time just something brand new, and this is before this was certainly before smartphones. It was before everyone had a phone in their pocket and you were carrying it around all the time.
Yes.
It just seems like it's such a wonderful relic of a bygone era that wouldn't really doesn't make sense anymore. The way the world is, no one's going to use it even if it was still around.
Right.
It's just been superseded by other technologies, but AIM has such a special place in my heart. And I gotta say, I'm super excited that we're finally talking about this, because I've been wanting for a while to do, because I feel like one of the big kind of topics that we haven't touched on a lot on the show, as far as themes, we've talked about toys and obviously movies and television
shows and
some music and all that, but we haven't talked about early internet, and we haven't talked about technology back then, because this was kind of the 90s for us.
Yes.
for everyone, was sort of the birth of this like Internet 1.0 era. I think of it as coming around in sort of the early mid 90s.
Yeah.
Now I recall, as I'm sure you probably do.
Okay.
You know, my first time on the internet was through Prodigy. Do you remember having Prodigy?
Yes, I do.
So
I do.
it was when we still lived in Florida, so this would have been pre 1995. I would say 93 or 4.
We had a big hunkin'.
The family computer.
The family computer.
And it was, you know, much like landline phones used to be. It was like, it wasn't something that you carried around in your pocket. We sound so old, by the way.
God.
We're like, let me gather around, children. Let me tell you
about the phones that we didn't carry with us.
Let me tell you about the phones that were stuck to the wall, and the computers that were essentially like
they were 800 pounds, so they stayed in your house.
They needed an entire wall entertainment system to. You had the family computer. It was.
Let me just say. I miss that so bad. That feeling, that like era of time, like, I mean, I know our whole podcast is about nostalgia, which is essentially like appreciating and loving and kind of missing the things from our childhood, but just like that era when we didn't have phone. I mean, we didn't even know that was like a thing that could even ever happen. You know?
There's a big, and I feel like that's the disconnect in the experience of our generation and the generations before us and the younger Gen Z, the young generations coming up now, is that, you know, we're kind of the last we millennials, I guess, or it's early older millennials like we are.
Yeah.
We remember the world without the internet. And I think that's one of the big differentiating things between us and the younger generations going forward is going to be, we at least remember, like, the kids coming up now don't. I mean, it's always been, they've had smartphones, they've had high speed internet, and
I mean, obviously they've seen, you know, technological advances, but like there was not a time in their life when the internet didn't exist.
I think it's just I think it's crazy when you think about how the internet and everything that comes with computer technology completely changed the fabric of the entire world, not just one country or anything. And that, you know, I think it's kind of cool that we were alive to sort of see that transition for better or worse, because I do really a lot of nostalgia, even you know, we have nostalgia for lots of stuff. Obviously, we do a whole podcast about it, but if you generalize that, it's a nostalgia for that. For me personally, it's a nostalgia for that time, sort of before. Yes. Everything was instantaneous and the internet was so prevalent, and before social media and before phones, before cell phones and smartphones, and when you weren't expected to be available all the time.
I know. And I mean, I think that has it has changed the entire like psyche of like, I mean, you know, you have this thing with you all the time and you are expected, you know, to constantly, like you said, to constantly be available, and I think with a lot of I've experienced with a lot of people that while that is certainly true, a lot of people, I guess our age and probably younger, with text messaging, with iMessage and all that, there's just an expectation that, like, you don't need to respond to me unless it's something very, very important. You don't need to respond to me immediately. Yeah. That it's like, because I mean, a lot of times I talk with, you know, I always have, just like all of us, I always have chats going on with my friends via text. Yeah, sure. You know, sometimes I'll text them and won't hear back from a day or two, and then they'll respond. It was when it was like, you know, that's no offense. I mean, you're busy. Right. Right. Or like you're in the middle of a conversation, you just forgot to respond. And because and you can't put up an away message like you could on AOL. Yes. Which and the away message, it had to be moody. I feel like it had.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's back up. Let's set the scene.
Okay.
For those that were there, let's reminisce.
Okay.
For those that weren't there, let's as I like to say, let's paint a picture. You got the family computer, which is giant and bulky, and you have a monitor that is like 24 inches deep.
Exactly.
And so you sit down and you log on to the internet via a dial-up internet connection, and you hear the wonderful sound that Amy will play right now. And that sound means that you are logging on to the Information Superhighway.
Ooh,
which is a term that I feel like we need to bring back.
Oh, yeah.
Information Superhighway. Yeah.
I love that. Who coined that, I wonder?
I don't know.
Oh, interesting. We'll do
I'm going to guess.
Bill Gates. No, I don't know.
I don't know. All right, so tell it like, well, all right, so now we're on the internet. We're on the World Wide Web.
Yep.
We're ready to experience all of the wonders.
Oh, the wonders
that the internet has to offer. And we're going to log into AOL. So, I mean, for those that weren't around, what is it? It's not texting. It's not social media.
No. It's it's just used for chat. So it's this extra thing that you had. Mm-hmm. Think of it kind of like, GChat or what, just any kind of...
Nowadays, everything's an app. Back in my day... They were programs.
Yes, on your computer.
That you downloaded onto your computer.
Yes. And yeah, it was just for chatting. I don't even think you couldn't send pictures back and forth or anything, could you? At least
not at first. No.
Not at first. No, for sure not at first. Maybe eventually, but you had to come up with what we called a screen name. Mm-hmm. Which nowadays we call that like a handle, like your Instagram handle. Or
do you remember what your AIM username was or screen name?
I had a few. My first one, I believe, was Dancing Taco 32.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was
that was very quirky, very Oh my god, I'm so random.
Well, it was an inside joke.
Very much those vibes.
Yeah. It was an inside joke with a friend. Do you remember my friend Krista? It was an inside joke with Krista.
It was an inside joke with the dancing taco that you knew.
Yeah, I don't even remember the context of that joke, but I remember it being a joke with us, and I was actually at her house when I first created my screen name. So we were like trying to think of what we should do. That was also my very first email at Hotmail.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Also, our mom still uses a Hotmail account, and it's the most innocent thing. I just love that about her. Like,
man, I come across
will not make the transition to Gmail, and I gotta respect that.
I mean, she's stuck to her guns, and you do have to respect that, man. I just sidebar. I communicate with a lot of medical offices in my job, and man, a lot of people, especially like these older doctors. Like, so many of them still have Hotmail. Yeah.
Hotmail is it the boomer email? Do you think it's the...
Oh, it's definitely... I think definitely boomer email. Yeah.
They got Hotmail accounts when everybody had Hotmail accounts.
Yeah.
And they don't want to change. I know, that's fine.
That's fine. Well, and honestly, like at this point, with
a perfectly good email.
At this point, with so many years of having that, and it's probably tied to so many things, that it's going to be a giant pain in the ass at this point to change it. So
yeah, exactly.
I'd just leave it the way. I just
it's just so fun to see like a Hotmail.
You can tell
it always makes me think.
I can guarantee, like, if I see a Hotmail account, I can almost guarantee that the person's like at least over 50.
Yes.
Yeah, guaranteed.
It's charming. I think it's charming.
It is kind of charming.
Yes, I love that our mom still has a Hotmail. And I can't tell you how many times I have emailed her and I put at Gmail at the end because I just assume, and then I'm like, nope, that's the wrong email.
Nope, we're using Hotmail.
Nope, we're using Hotmail. But yeah, you had to come up with a screen name or your handle, as we would say now. So do you remember your first your first screen name?
So I only remember one. I only remember having one, so I don't know that I changed it very much.
I think I
but
changed mine once I got older.
I think it was Even the Losers 41.
It was Even the Losers 41.
Which was is a reference to Tom Petty song.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And then 41.
Because you were cool.
Oh, yeah.
But not like high school. You were like, I listened to Tom Petty cool.
Oh, I was an old soul.
Yes, that's what it is. You were.
No.
You were that kind of cool.
Yeah, which is to say, not cool.
I don't know. I thought you were pretty cool.
Well, I don't know. You'll have to ask all the girls in high school who did not date me if I was cool or not.
I always thought Justin.
I don't know that they were as enamored with Tom Petty lyrics as I was. Evidently not.
Evidently not. I liked your username. I thought it was great.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that was my username on Zanga as well. While we're talking about old internet things, I'm imagining, it's 1999. I'm on my dial-up connection. Yep. I'm logged into AIM. I got my buddy list pulled up.
Your buddy list, yes.
My buddy list. Maybe I'm downloading something from Napster.
Oh, 100% downloading from Napster.
Maybe I'm working on my first web page, which, by the way, sounds archaic at this point. Like, no one has a web page anymore.
Also, it was on Angel Fire.
Angel Fire was mine.
It was on.
I know lots of folks had GeoCities. Lots of folks had. I'm blanking on any others, but Angel Fire.
Did you have your own website, Justin? And what was it on? Because I definitely remember.
Well, it wasn't my website. It was
Without Pants. Are you gonna tell the people about?
Well, yeah,
Without
you can't.
Pants?
Yeah, you can't just say Without Pants without clarifying what it is. It was basically me and a group of friends. We made videos,
including Brian Hey Guys Wakefield,
with our pants on, including Brian Hey Guys Wakefield.
That's how long they've been friends, because this was middle school. This was like 6th grade.
Yep,
that's when this started. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a group. We made goofy movies for school projects to amuse ourselves, and we were just kind of a close knit group of friends. And and actually, I went and checked the other day, and that website is still up.
Justin.
I'll pull it up right now. Okay, so
was it on Angel Fire or GeoCities?
Yeah, it was on Angel Fire.
Okay, what is the?
I'm gonna spell it out for you.
Okay.
It's gonna be the Cool Kids Club bump. The Without Pants website hasn't seen this much traffic since '98. All right, so go to your browser.
Does it have a view counter at the bottom still? How many people have visited the site?
Well, let's see.
Remember?
Let's see. Yes, of course I remember. I was just there the other day.
All right, what is it? Because I want to look at it.
Yes, thank you. Angelfire.com. Now what? And
not Anglefire, but
not Anglefire. Angelfire.com.
Okay.
/ Now, we're going to spell out Without Pants, but after the I, put another /. So we're going to do WI / Thout Pants. Now, that's a joke because the way that they set up Angel Fire websites back then, this is crazy to think about, your address was angelfire.com / whatever state. You could pick a state that you were in.
Oh, yeah.
So we were not in Wisconsin, but the WI is a reference to Wisconsin because we could then it would be like your 2-letter state / whatever. So angelfire.com / WI / Thout Pants. And you can go, some of it's up, some of it's still up, some of it's not.
Oh my God, Justin.
Take a look. Yep.
Big Giant Miss Johnson.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow. Are any of your video? Would you probably not have been able to put the videos up at that point, huh?
Well, I will say that a lot of our videos are not on the website. No, because we didn't have.
You
that.
should upload those.
We didn't
to
have
YouTube.
that. Well, I have most of them because a couple years ago, Brian's dad found a bunch of the old tapes and
God.
digitized them for. I have them all on my Plex server right now, actually.
What is under movie posters? Brand new. I feel like this is a joke, though. I feel like it's probably not.
It's probably not brand new. It's probably 25 years old. But
well, but even I feel like
I'm
at
sure
the time
plenty of these links are dead.
a MIDI archive.
Midis.
Oh my God! Third Eye Blind, Bare Naked Ladies, Barry Manilow, The Beach Boys, Old Souls.
Old souls.
The Beatles, Billy Idol.
You know Brian
Blink-
Wakefield put this together, and he's definitely an old soul.
Oh, he is an old soul. Oh my! A lot of Dave Matthews Band. DC Talk. I am having the best time looking at this. This is
DC
amazing.
Talk. Jesus freak.
Jesus freak. Oh. Did anybody else go through a religious phase in...
We're not going there. We're not going there. We don't talk politics and religion, except when we're singing Catholic hymns about Batman.
Well, yeah. Well, there is a counter at the bottom of this page, and it says 123.
Right. Well, you can, unfortunately,
wow.
the link seems to be dead, but you could sign our guest book. Remember guest books?
Yes! Oh my God, Justin, this is
None of this has
incredible.
anything to do with AOL Instant Messenger, but
No,
this is a true
it's fine.
relic of a bygone era.
It is.
Yeah, go check out the there's going to be like 10 people that go check this out. It's going to crash the website for good.
I like the email is Canadian Mountie Volleyball Sportscaster at Hotmail, of course.
At Hotmail. My email, my first ever email was related to Without Pants, which was the mall cop at hotmail.com.
Oh my God, that's right. Long before Paul Blart.
Long before Paul Blart, I was the
Yeah.
original mall cop, and I had I had the Hotmail address to prove it.
Wow, I recall that. Yes.
So your
Wow.
yeah, that was a sidebar, but a pretty fun one.
Yeah. That's a little trip down memory lane there.
There you go.
All right. So you got your buddy list.
Your
Which
buddy
is
list. So
all
this
your friends.
This predates your MySpace top 8.
Oh yeah.
This is the first. You're gonna organize you go on. You find your friends, and this was the big thing is you could organize them. And we know
Yes.
how much you and I love organizing things.
Love to
and
love
sorting
to make a
things
list.
into lists,
Yep.
making lists.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you'd have maybe your BFFs, you'd have, family members, you'd have people from school
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever categories you wanted, you could have your whole buddy list and it would, be sorted out. And you could assign them buddy icons.
Yes,
remember
you
buddy
could. Almost like
icons?
little avatars, like kind of proto,
Yeah.
avatars. I also think it's interesting, nowadays you have to like follow or subscribe or request to follow or whatever. With AIM, you just had to know somebody's screen name. Like that was it. So, it's like if you could get somebody's screen name, like theoretically you can chat with them. You can put them in, see when they're online. Like there was kind of no, you didn't have to request to follow somebody to be able to chat with them. You just had to know their screen name.
But you could like block people, of course.
You could block people. Yes.
I think one of the quintessential aspects of AIM, outside of it being just obviously a instant real-time chat
Yeah.
service, and the first time we had ever really had that,
Yeah.
is the away message. And
Oh,
this is something that didn't really carry over as
No.
sort of social media progressed, because again you're sort of just you're always on, you're just always there. You're always
Right.
expected to be there. But
Yes.
with this, it was you were unreachable theoretically. So talk about away messages, because I feel like, myself surely, and I'm sure you too, and I'm sure everyone listening who was on AIM, spent so much time trying to cultivate the right away message,
Yes.
The right amount of emo and clever. But just so that you're not appearing that you're trying to be either.
Yes, that is correct.
You don't want to seem like a tryhard.
Right. So you would have, you could have many pre-saved away messages. I remember that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you could say, just like email signatures.
Yes. You could have, I remember I had one when I was in the shower, and it was so fresh and so clean. That was
I remember that.
Yes. So you could have different ones if it's like, I'm eating dinner or I'm whatever. Like, you could label them and then just put those up, or you could always just come up with a new one or whatever you wanted to do. So,
I mean, let's be honest. A lot of times they're gonna be song lyrics. I don't think
they're gonna be song lyrics.
Younger generations don't understand how often we posted emo cryptic song lyrics as away messages or status updates or whatever.
Yes, on Facebook. Remember when Facebook used to be? It would be like Amy is blank. And so, I mean, that was like what you posted something. It was like, that was the only way you posted anything.
Amy is Dave Matthews Band lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Oh, and I think back, honestly, I don't remember specifically a lot of away messages I had and all that, but the one I just, God, I was so cringy. Well, and we probably all were. We all were, probably.
We all were, yeah.
I definitely remember having, like, Cure lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Like, about,
when you're feeling about a girl.
About how sad and emo I am. Or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Very sad, very deep, yes.
Yeah, a lot of song lyrics. Well,
and
I feel like
they would be cryptic. It would be like, you wanted people to be like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And
oh my
you
God.
would just be like,
there's still people that use social media this way.
Yes,
I feel
100%.
Like AIM taught a generation how to be passive aggressive on the internet.
Yes.
How
the
to
away message
post
specifically.
How to post vague things to get people to be like, what are they talking about? Who are they talking about? Are they talking about me? What's wrong? What's wrong?
What do they call that?
For
Subtweeting.
Subtweeting.
Subtweet.
Yeah, this is just subtweeting from 20 years ago.
Yep. Yeah, basically. Yep. This is here's some song lyrics about how I'm feeling, or how my friend has wronged me, or
how my
boyfriend broke up with me, or whatever.
Oh, and I mean, we're talking junior high school, so there's always drama going on.
Oh, there's always drama.
Always some kind of drama.
So many feelings. It's awful.
So many hormones and feelings, and it's awful. And and
you don't know what to do with any of them.
And honestly, thank God that a lot of this for us is lost to time.
I know.
Unlike the younger generations coming up now, where I feel like they're going to really regret putting so much stuff on the internet.
So much of themselves on the internet.
So much of themselves on the internet. As someone who put a lot of themselves on the internet in the early days, and I'm glad that we have evolved past a point where most of that's available, because I wouldn't want it out there, because it was probably, again, very cringy.
Justin, let me ask you something. Did you ever... I definitely did this a few times. Did you ever print off an AIM conversation?
I don't recall ever doing that, no.
There were definitely times when I would, because I wanted to save it. And there was no, unless you just were on all the time and left that window up, like you couldn't, once you closed out, but it'd be like, I was having a conversation with like a boy at school, and like, I wanted to be able to save what they said.
I wanted to be able to read it back.
Correct. I wanted to be able to read it back and show it to my friends for analysis. Like we would do now with a text.
Like a text. Like, what does this mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I would print it out in color. So that
in color, yeah.
So that we'd have the screen. I used our ink that was probably $80 cartridge to print off AIM conversations. And this wasn't a regular thing, but I definitely did it a couple times.
Oh my God.
Because it'd be like, if you were having a text conversation with someone that you had a crush on or whatever, and then you'd be showing your friends, like, what is this? He said this. Or like, what do you say?
What do you say to that? How do you respond to that?
Yes, because if I closed the window, it was gone forever. And I'm like, nobody's going to believe that he said these things or that we had this conversation. I'm going to print this shit off, and then I'm going to talk to my friends about it, and we're going to analyze.
Yeah. And again, we're seeing the old analog. We're seeing the old analog world meeting the new digital world here.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Amy's printing off physical copies of internet chat conversations.
Do you know I haven't thought about that? That just popped into my head that I did that. I haven't thought about that. I can remember 2 instances and the people which I won't say, of course.
Well, it's out. Well, it's going to be out there on the internet now, so you can't take it back.
Well, that's fine. I'm just not going to say who it was, but I do recall 2 instances at least where I did
So
that.
you remember who it was?
Oh, I remember who it was. Yes.
All right, well,
2 different people. Yes.
Tell me when we're not recording.
Okay.
Not that it matters at all,
Not
and
that
anyone's
it
going to know
matters
who
at
the hell
all,
we're talking
but
about.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I just it's like you came home from school, and you spent the whole day talking to your friends, and so naturally you had to get on Instant Messenger and continue to talk to them.
Yeah.
And when it's like the 2 of us, I mean, there were 2 of us in the house and only 1 computer. So that's
the thing too, is that you got to think
that
like
does not exist.
In our house, there was 4 people. You got to think this is 1 computer that's in a stationary location that all of you have to share.
Yes.
And by the way, if you're on the internet and someone picks up the phone or someone calls your house, it's going to kick you off the internet.
Yep.
So
the fact that like, I just imagine like a 12-year-old hearing that and being like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you mean it would kick?
Sometimes I don't feel that old until I say something like that. And I'm like, that sounds so disconnected from the world that I know now and the world that we're all living in.
Yeah.
That it seems baffling, but it doesn't feel like that long ago.
Well, it wasn't that long ago. That's the thing, is that things changed so fast that really it wasn't that long ago.
But it was.
I know.
But we're old, shit.
But we're old. Oh, God.
Did you ever spend a lot of time talking with people you didn't know, like strangers on AOL?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you have is this your first boyfriend? Was they an AOL stranger?
Not my first boyfriend.
That was definitely not a sexual predator.
Nothing was ever official.
Nothing was official.
Well, first of all, do you remember?
Nothing was official as in we didn't know each other's real names.
No. The person I'm going to talk about here in a minute, I know it is, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a real person because we ended up being Facebook friends for years and years and, kind of followed each other. So, I mean, I really...
It was a long con. You got catfished.
Well, but we...
I don't know really what they got out of it, but...
I can remember his name, which I will not say, but... No, but he's a real person.
Sure.
But what I want to say is, do you remember? Of course, there were chat rooms, and there were chat rooms on other parts of
another relic of a bygone era.
This is a similar time. There were definitely chat rooms on lots of different web pages, and all that kind of stuff.
And I remember chat rooms being a big part of Prodigy when we were like our very first internet. I mean, we were very young there, so I don't know that we were really super permitted to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, and
probably for good reason.
I was kind of always afraid of chat rooms because you kind of hurt. I was just like,
you never know who's going to be in there.
Yeah,
like I'm just like, I just want to go talk about. I also want to talk about the X-Files. Can we just talk about the
X-Files?
Like I don't. This doesn't have to be sexual. Can we just talk about X-Files?
ASL, age, sex, location.
ASL.
Which was so when you would be so you could decide to go into a chat room, or they had this thing where you, like, say you're bored and none of your friends are on, you could literally go and just be like, ask AIM to just match you with a random person who's online right now. Literally.
Yeah.
And you would just start a conversation.
The internet was the wild fucking west back then. You have to understand if you weren't around.
Really was.
I miss it. I really do.
I do too. Terribly.
The internet today is just not the same. Everything is so centralized, and so much internet traffic is taken up by such a tiny amount of websites, you know?
Yes.
Back then, it was everyone had a web page. You were in these random chat rooms. It was the Wild West. It
really
was. I mean,
was.
some of that was awesome. Some of it wasn't so awesome. But but it was new. It was completely new, and it wasn't anything like we had experienced before. And I missed that.
Well,
it's a different internet than what we have today.
Oh, 100%.
Completely.
Well, and that's the thing is it's like, it was an incredible thing because you could just be like, it's going to connect me with somebody who could be anywhere in the world.
Yes.
And that was like the first time that you could just, I'm going to chat live. I mean, other than a phone call, but like, I'm going to chat live with someone who lives in Japan or what. I mean, you don't know.
I remember talking to someone in India and it just blew my mind. I was like, I can't believe I'm talking to someone on the other side of the world. This is insane.
Right.
And now we kind of take that for granted. And I mean, it's kind of a cliche. It's a true cliche that the internet really kind of shrunk the world.
Yes.
But this was sort of the first time I was a kid in Florida or Tennessee, and I'm talking to someone over in India. I'm talking to someone in Europe, or so they say. Yeah.
Definitely a 54-year-old man living in his mom's basement.
I don't ever recall being preyed upon.
No, I wasn't. Well, and again, I was very wary of that, and being like a young girl specifically, like.
Well, yeah.
If I was.
I was a young boy, and.
Well, that's true. If I got matched with somebody who was having a conversation, and even the inkling of weirdness, I'd just be like, look, and I would just close that. So yeah, but ASL. So that was. I mean, that wasn't.
That was like the first thing you asked.
That was the first thing you asked, and be like. Hey,
how old are you?
ASL, age, sex, location.
Age, sex, location.
Yeah.
Let's figure out where this conversation is going to go.
And that's where the lie began. No.
And that's where the lie began. Yep.
Now I will say I never found a point in lying about.
I don't ever recall lying.
No. Because I didn't.
I don't know why I would have.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk to some like 25-year-old man. That was scary to me. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I'm not going to pretend I'm older.
I don't want to get lured to some weird parking lot and then end up a lampshade in some dude's house.
Exactly.
You
exactly.
know?
So I'm like, 13 female Tennessee or whatever, and that like if you didn't like
female
that, then
Tennessee.
13 FTN.
I am 13. I'm wearing a bucket hat.
I have on a baby blue t-shirt with angel wings on it. It is a baby doll tee. Those
and it just,
were simpler times.
They were simpler times, and it felt so special. Now it doesn't feel special because
I know
I have a phone right here in my hand.
Yep.
You have a phone right next to you, and
Yep.
I can text anyone I want to. Right from this.
I like how we both showed our phones to each other as if this is a podcast
if we didn't know what a
video podcast.
As if anyone could see this, and as if we don't know what phones look like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a good show. I stand by it.
It's a good show.
But it felt special back then. It was
did.
so new, and again, it wasn't something you carried around with you all the time. It was something that you did from home.
It was a finite period of time when you could be on your family's computer. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, that made a noise. I'm trying to get a picture of Hazel. She's been hysterical. And you could be on your family's computer. Your brother was doing something else, so you got to be on the internet. So, and I have to say, our dad didn't really get on the internet a ton. I feel like that wasn't really his vibe.
He wasn't. Dad. Our dad didn't really do computers very much. A little bit, but not. He wasn't a computer guy, really.
No, he wasn't. He was a real experience, real connection kind of guy. And our mom did some for sure, but not a lot. And I mean, she was busy and stuff. I can remember, and this is not. I like how this has just become a conversation about just early internet, which I love, but not the internet specifically. But I used to. Let me preface this by saying I wanted to be the youngest published author that had ever existed. That was my goal as a kid. The super normal kid goals. Yes. And I wanted to write, and I would write books and stories in MS Works, which was...
Not Word. Works.
Not Word. But MS Works.
Because Works was free. And Word...
Yes, it was.
You had to pay for. just like today.
Well, Works existed before Word even existed.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
I will say,
Works was replaced
also,
by Word.
AIM is the first time I ever recall encountering emojis.
Oh, you're right. Now, we would create. They weren't created, right?
They had.
It was emoticons. It was emoticons.
Emoticons, and
which you'd created.
If you look in the notes, I have a picture of some of them on the second page.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Very specific, and we'll post this on social media because we know you can't see it.
Well, I guess it did.
And they're very weird.
They are very weird.
But you had to it was like you had to hit control plus shift plus something,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the first time I ever recall seeing emojis. I think they were emoticon. I don't think the word emoji existed back then.
No, they did. They were called emoticons. I think.
Emoticons.
Which is still, I think.
I feel like emoji was just a play on that because we all called them emoticons back then.
Yes. I like that money mouth, foot in mouth. There's some interesting.
Yeah, there's some weird ones. There's some weird ones. So like AIM launched in 97. So I mean the heyday of this was obviously the late 90s, but I mean into the 2000s too.
Oh yeah.
You have to think like the first iPhone wasn't until 2007.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I remember. I mean, I graduated high school in 2005, and I used AIM all through high school.
Oh yeah, like through the early to mid 2000s. Yeah, we were all still on AIM, and really it wasn't until I mean, it's kind of what it sort of got replaced by texting.
Yes, it did.
Sort of slowly, old school SMS texting first. And then as we got
on your old like Nokia
iPhones,
brick phones,
smartphones, Androids, and all that, and you had iMessage.
Yeah.
That sort of again just sort of increasingly replaced it. The popularity of the service kind of cratered in 2011, and so in 2011 you had the introduction of GChat, which was through Gmail. You also had
2011.
2011.
Oh, I thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah, time is getting weird.
God.
That's also the. Of course, by this time, Facebook is a gigantic thing, and they spun off Facebook Messenger, which was their own chat service, into its own thing. Yeah. And of course, by 2011, we're starting to see the rise of Twitter. Obviously, it's not what it would become and what it is today, or what it is soon not going to be anymore. But
yeah.
All of this kind of just combined to just sort of put the nail in the coffin, but AIM kept kicking.
Really?
They kept kicking for a while. So in March of 2012, AOL, America Online, who is just the cockroaches of the internet, like they will not die. They will not die. They disbanded the AIM development staff in 2012.
Okay.
But the product was still active, and they still had they still supported it. Like they still had like tech support for it.
Wow.
But the official time of death.
Yeah.
Was December 15th, 2017, and I remember
2017. Oh, that's right.
I remember it being in the news that they were shutting it down. Yeah. So yeah, December 15th, 2017, it was officially discontinued. You could go on. If you could get your old login, you could still go on and save all your old stuff and download the data from it.
Now, I definitely had a different screen name by this time.
And it wasn't Dancing Taco?
It was not. Like late high school.
Yeah, you said you had a couple, but you only mentioned Dancing Taco. So what were the other ones?
So I think that I had Dancing Taco, and then I think that maybe that was more like middle school, and then I think I changed it. Oh, shoot, I don't really remember what it was after that. But I know like late high school, probably my cringiest one, and the last one that I ever had, was Beauty Cellar Door.
Oh, that's a Donnie Darko reference, isn't it?
It is. It is a Donnie Darko reference.
I remember that.
Man,
Remember when we
Because-
were all like, boy, Donnie Darko's super deep. I'm not insulting Donnie Darko, by the way.
By the way,
Donnie
I
Darko.
just still love that movie. Yes. It's great. It's a great movie. Yes, it is a Donnie Darko reference. Yeah. There were a lot of screen names, not me, but a lot of with the X's on the ends. That was very in.
Oh yeah, Scott,
in
your
fact-
husband definitely had
yeah, he
a screen name with X's on the end. He probably still
Yeah,
does.
he
I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely did.
A lot of like
also
spelling,
so did our
spelling with like multiple R's, like girl with multiple R's, or
or like
lover.
A mixture of lowercase and capitalized, like going back and forth or something, which is so annoing.
Yes.
That was just, we loved doing that, by the way, in the late 90s. That was
And away messages also. It got to a point where it was like it was like you were trying to make it look as obnoxious as possible. Different
Yes.
fonts, different font sizes, bright colors on the background, font
yes.
colors. Yeah, it got ridiculous.
Like that, like lime green on the blue, and it's just like hard
Yeah.
to read. And
Oh,
like,
lime green on blue. That's a great combination.
and just like the little squiggles on the end.
Oh, you gotta have some squiggles.
You gotta have some squiggles.
Got to have them squiggies.
I miss that. Ooh, should I change my Instagram handle to look like an AOL screen name with like squiggles? Do you think they'll allow squiggles?
I think so.
All right, we're gonna test.
We're gonna see.
We're gonna see. It was just.
I miss that little yellow running man.
I do. I miss him. I miss. Oh, and the door opening and closing sound when someone would log on and off. Remember?
I'll be honest, I completely forgot about that, and then you just said it, and it just unlocked a memory for me. Yes.
Well, I had
the door
forgotten
opening
too.
and closing sound when people would log in and log off. Yep.
So you
Yep.
would hear, you'd be chatting, you'd be doing other stuff.
Ooh, who's entered
On
the
the
room?
worldwide, and then you'd hear the door open, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And you'd go and check to see
My
who-
crush
and-
is on.
My crush is on. Exactly.
Time to embarrass myself.
Time to get the printer fired up.
I better go ahead and get my printer ink warming up. gonna have to print this convo for posterity. Show all my friends and make a scrapbook.
Oh my god. We're gonna have to diagram it like it's a sentence in English class.
Yeah.
Now, he used this verbiage. What do you think this means?
Mm-hmm.
God, the fact that I'd
Now
forgotten that I did that.
is this the subjunctive?
God. Oh my god, what was wrong with me? Do you remember how, like, you'd hear somebody get on, like, you'd hear the door open, and then, like, 10 seconds later it would close? Because they were just, like, logging on to see
See who was on.
who
and
was
then
on.
Popping right back off.
And popping right back off, and you'd be like, no!
Oh no, I didn't make the cut.
No, he did not care that
They
I was on.
didn't want to talk to me.
Didn't want to talk to me. Or
No.
he was like, check it. And of course, in my mind, I'm like,
I need to go write a poem about this.
you need to go what?
I need to go write a poem about this.
No, I had to put something moody in my away message, so next time he comes on, he can see my away message.
Oh, no, he's
man.
gone. Or I guess for me, she.
Yeah.
I gotta go find the perfect Cure lyric to express my disdain.
You're like, let me go play my guitar in my room and be sad. That was you. Oh, no. Let me go listen to Dashboard Confessional and think about this. Oh.
I don't blame those high school girls for not dating me. Thinking about it now. They were probably wise not to.
You're like, I was a mess. Listen, this episode has made me happy.
Good. Well, I hope it's made everyone happy.
Yeah, I really am truly, like, filled with joy. This episode has made me happy, and I hope that it's made everybody else happy who is listening to it.
Yeah. No, this has been a great little trip down memory lane. The early internet was full of wonders, and we're gonna have other of these types of topics, I think.
Yes, for sure.
Going forward, for sure, because there's a lot that we need to talk about.
Yes.
Some of which we have mentioned in this episode, some of which we have not. But yeah, gosh, this was. It makes me want to put an away message up on my text messages and just be alone all day.
Yeah, but checking in every like 10 minutes. to see
Checking
who's
in
on.
checking in periodically. It's like
Yes.
I want to be alone, quote unquote, but not really.
Yeah.
I just want to. Talk
I want
to the,
people to think I want to be alone.
Yes, I don't want
But I
people
don't-
to think that I'm there desperate for affection and attention.
Well, this has been just lovely. A lovely start to the weekend and to my
Yes.
Saturday to have this conversation about AIM. Before we log off,
before the door closes.
oh, there will be a door closing sound at the end of this episode. Don't worry.
Okay, just making sure.
But before we log off, let's go ahead and let's talk about our social media.
Hey, let's talk about all the stuff that took the place of AIM. We are on
Yes.
Instagram and Twitter at Cool Kids Club Pod. Come follow us. We have a lot of friends over there, and we have a lot of fun
Yes.
hanging out with you guys. And
particularly on Instagram. Yes, that's our place.
yes, you
Yeah.
can also find us on Facebook if you just search for Cool Kids Club Podcast. Follow us over there. I am not on much, so I apologize if I'm not as responsive on Facebook, but we love all you guys. And yeah, what else?
All you guys with your Hotmail accounts and your Facebook.
Get on Facebook and poke us. Can you still poke?
Can you still poke?
I don't know. I haven't been on Facebook in a long time.
I feel like you can't. Yeah, me either.
If anything, it's probably come back around, and now it's like a nostalgia feature. Like they brought it back just for the nostalgia of it.
Well, it's been almost 20 years.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're going on 20 years of Facebook. Jesus. Hey, where are you at?
I think we literally just had to stop and think about that for a second.
Ugh.
Both were just like, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at AmyReadsTN, although probably after this episode's come out, it's going to have some squiggles on the end. So we'll see. Yeah, you can find me there. You can find Justin on the Information Superhighway on Instagram and Twitter at lousywithghosts. Which
Actually,
is
I'm not
actually
not Twitter anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm also. I mean, I have a Twitter, but I'm never on it. So let's just say Instagram.
My account, I actually don't have an account anymore. So,
Okay.
but we are on Cool Kids Club Pod, and I am certainly on Instagram at lousywithghosts.
Yes.
So yeah, come hang
Come
out with
check
me
us
if you want to
out
see
if you
pictures of toys and cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Thank you so much to Brian Hayguys Wakefield, founding member of Without Pants.
Yes.
For our bangin' theme song, all our little earworms that he does for us.
Brian Wakefield, the creative genius behind Without Pants and Zack Attack and Test Dream.
Yeah.
And
Behind all your favorite
and
things.
the Cool Kids Club theme.
Yep.
And producer of Blue Barred Cage. If you want
Yes.
to check out my other show, we do occasional episodes about wrestling. So if you want to listen to me,
Occasional episodes.
if you want to listen to me talk about wrestling, classic wrestling, new wrestling, if that's your
all
thing,
the wrestlings.
all the wrestlings, come check us out. We have a big backlog of episodes, and like, yeah, we aren't on really a regular schedule, but we kind of do them when we can. So,
Oh.
yeah.
You know, you're busy adults. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, this little peek into early internet culture, and also just a couple of Saturday morning ramblings.
We're gonna put up our away. We're gonna put up our away message now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we will be
gonna
checking
go-
back in, and
Yes.
like always, we'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode.
That's right. And until then, what should the good people do?
I think they should probably stay equal.
And I want to point out that it is spelled Kewl,
Like it would have been
like it would have been
on
in 1997.
Yes. Also some X's on the end. Stay XQX.
Bye, guys.